Hey everybody, it's Ann popping on behind my apron this afternoon. I'm gonna try something different with you guys a little bit. I'm gonna start over here and then I'll move the camera with me as we move over to the stove top and do the blender. So hopefully this will all work. If not, we'll just stop it and we'll start over and we'll try again, okay? But whether you are having one of my virtual parties with me this week, which is so much fun, I wanted to show a few favorite things. But I also wanted to kind of show you what I was doing for dinner tonight. So the first thing that I've got going on here is I am making homemade naan bread. And I love naan bread. It's so easy to make. It's so fun to do. It's kind of in the family of making tortillas or something. And I can post the recipe later. This recipe for the naan is from Half Baked Harvest. I love the things that she does. And so it also just makes a batch of 8. And so that part's really nice. So I made the dough about an hour ago because you do need to let it rest for an hour. And then I divided it into 8 portions. And I put it out on my cutting mat because I want to roll these out. And you don't want them super thin because remember, this is not a tortilla, this is naan bread. So about 1/4 of an inch thick is a good idea. And we'll just take another one and start it. And you kind of want them ovally round, okay? Doesn't need to be perfect by any means. Remember, these are homemade breads. So just do some rolling, kind of move it around so that you can get it to about that 1/4 of inch thickness. And then the other thing that we're making today is the reason I'm making these naans to begin with is because we are going to do a chicken wrap with peri peri sauce. So I don't know about you guys, but how many of you know what peri peri sauce is? Okay, if you know, put it in the comments. If not, I'll give you the definition here in just a minute. So if you're my pie baker or cookie baker watching, you guys might love this marble rolling pin as well. And then we're gonna move it over to the other counter in just a second. But first I wanna tell you a couple of things. What is the definition of peri peri sauce? I thought I'll read it for you because it makes it the easiest. It's a sour and a little sweet and slightly salty, making it a very complex and versatile sauce that you can use on almost everything. And I had to cook up some chicken earlier today, so I just made some extra, and it's been marinating in this peri peri sauce that I'm going to show you in a minute. But you guys, I wish that you were here to smell it. It just smells absolutely delicious. So right there is just some cooking. Chicken that I'd already cooked up and shredded and put in the sauce. So that's coming up right away. But first, maybe you're looking at these and wondering, well, how are we going to cook the naan bread? So once you have them rolled out into about this shape, I'm going to move the camera over here now, and this is where we're going to see if this will work or not. So I have a burner hot, and hopefully you can see that in just a minute, and I'll move it again. And I also have a cast iron skillet, 10-inch skillet, that I'm going to move into the burner spot. So let's see, I'm gonna mess with my camera a second here, guys. So if you can see that pan needs to be heating up. So that's what I'm doing with it right at the moment. So while I'm messing with the camera, that is getting hot. And you do really want a hot skillet to make this, okay? So don't be going too light on the temperature. Okay, and then I can peek in here once in a while. Okay, I think this will work. Maybe it's a little crooked. But once your skillet is good and hot, you're going to take that rolled out naan bread that you had, and you're going to take melted butter. And I just put a piece of parchment paper down to do this, but you want to put a little melted butter on both sides. So use a silicone brush so that you can do that. Very easy to flip. And then before you put it in the hot skillet, we're going to actually take and grind a little bit of sea salt on the top of it. Then I use the tongs because they're heat safe. And you're going to pick up this naan bread that is now wet. Hear that? Hear that sizzle? And you need to cover it for a minute. So I'm going to use the famous boil over no more because it fits our cast iron skillets perfectly. And I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute because the first step is that you cook this for 1 minute in this pan, and we'll come back and show you. Then when I take them out, I want to keep a couple of them warm so that whenever Jim shows up, we're going to have these wraps. But the rest I'm going to actually cook, and then I'm going to let cool completely on cooling racks. And then they freeze beautifully so that you can just warm them up another time when you're wanting to use these. And if you guys like hummus, you can also use fresh naan bread in place of like pita. So that's really fun too. So that's going on. And I'm gonna warm them, keep them warm in the tortilla warmer. And by the way, I already have one in here. Okay, so let's go on to what's in the blender though. The peri peri sauce. Let me grab the recipe. Because you guys, I know I haven't done the cooking blender for a while, but this is one of those tools that is just a time saver, because listen to all these ingredients that are in this sauce. It is a red bell pepper cut into chunks, a habanero pepper cut into chunks, an onion cut into chunks, 8 cloves of garlic, salt, fresh basil leaves, fresh oregano leaves, paprika, lemon juice, and olive oil. So I literally took that entire list of ingredients, and all I did was I had the lid off, I threw them all in the blender, I changed the dial to custom, and it tells you actually if you like the sounds of this recipe and if you have the blender, this recipe is on my website. It tells you to go to custom setting number 8, and so I will just go to custom setting number 8. And when I made it a little while ago, because I wanted that chicken to be marinating in it, remember, then I just pushed the button and see how it started popping up there. And it, for 1 minute, did the pulverizing, the cooking, and made the sauce. And now, because it's really noisy, I'll unplug it. But there was a couple shortcuts that I did also. If you use a lot of garlic, I love the clove peeler. So that recipe needed 8 cloves of garlic. Okay, so what I do is I just put a clove right in this, wild clove. I just put it in this silicone. Luckily, I'm not going to use this one since I just dropped it, but I'll show you guys. And then you're going to listen. Hear that crunching? That is crunching the skin of the garlic off. So then when you open it up, there's the mess, there's the skin, but then there's the clean clove. So that's ready for you to throw in the blender for that sauce if you were gonna make that sauce, okay? And let's just peek here at my timer. It's off. So, see the bubbles? Can you see the bubbles on the naan bread? We're gonna turn it. See those? And we're gonna let it cook for another 2 minutes. And then it will be done, and then you can use it for the recipe. So I can roll out more, I can keep cooking. But I want to talk another minute about this sauce, because what I'm going to do now is in this bowl there is 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, and I am going to take about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of the sauce that's left, and I'm just going to pour it right in with the mayonnaise. And I can gauge pretty close because this happens to be a 2-cup prep bowl, so I know about what it holds. And you're just going to whisk the mayonnaise and the peri peri sauce together. And then once you make these wraps, and I'm going to warm up the chicken so that the chicken is warm again, you're going to use a warm piece of the naan bread. You're going to put the warmed chicken that you've cooked with the peri peri sauce. You are going to then put sliced fresh tomatoes, sliced English cucumbers, diced up romaine lettuce, and then you're going to drizzle the peri peri sauce with the mayonnaise over the top. And you can add some more fresh basil leaves if you want to. And that is going to be your chicken naan wrap with peri peri sauce. So I'm looking to see on the comments if any of you knew what peri peri sauce is while I wait. This is almost done, 30 more seconds. And this is just a fun idea to do. And I will tell you guys, if you have kids at home or you have grandkids that come over and love to be in the kitchen, it is super easy to make homemade tortillas, to make homemade naan bread. It's a fun activity to do with them. They learn so many things by being in the kitchen, from reading and math, and just opens up their horizon on different things to eat too. So peri peri sauce originated in Africa. So if you have kids that are studying different countries and different cultures, this would be a fun way to do it too. And like I said, the recipe is right on my website, so I'll pull it off of there. So let's take a peek. Let's shut off the timer here, and let's take a peek and see if we like how the other side looks. You want to have those big, beautiful spots like that. If you have bought naan bread at the store, you know that's kind of exactly what it looks like. So that's it, you guys. See, it's very soft, and I'm going to just shove it in my tortilla warmer to keep it warm. And then if you're not going to eat it shortly, remember you want to let them cool really nicely on cooling racks before you freeze them. All right. So let me know if I can help, if anybody has questions about what we did tonight or what we were using. And by the way, when we're all done, remember the blender. I will take out the rest of that sauce. I will put in about 3 to 4 cups of water, a couple drops of dish soap, and I'll hit heat clean. It cleans itself. It's like its own dishwasher. Might be the coolest feature ever. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for popping behind my apron today. Talk to you soon.